And this is the story that kept coming to me in the past few weeks to share with clients. And before I go into the story, I did what I've been sharing with clients to do. I went to ChatGPT and I asked for a little bit of help to help rewrite the story just a little bit, keeping the lessons and bringing it in a way that it can, say, be received a little bit easier or a lot easier for today's time. And here is what ChatGPT came up with. There was once a wealthy businessman who had 3 employees. Before going on a long journey, he entrusted each of them with a sum of money according to their abilities. To the first employee, he gave $5,000. To the second, he gave $2,000. And to the third, he gave $1,000. The first employee decided to invest the money in a promising new business venture and was able to double the amount, earning $10,000. The second employee invested in the stock market and was able to earn $4,000. However, the third employee was afraid of taking risks and simply buried the money in a safe place. When the businessman returned from his journey, he asked each of his employees what they had done with the money he had entrusted to them. The first and the second employee proudly showed him the profits they had made, but the third employee sheepishly admitted that he had buried the money. The businessman was pleased with the first 2 employees and commended them for their hard work and wise investments. He rewarded them with a promotion and a bonus. However, he was disappointed in the third employee's lack of initiative and poor decision-making. He did not push the employee, but he decided not to give him any further responsibilities in the future. The moral of the story is that we all have different talents and abilities, and it's important to use them wisely and to take calculated risks to achieve our goals. Playing it safe may seem like the best option, but it often leads to missed opportunities and a lack of personal growth. Here's a question for you. What are one or more of your talents that you haven't used lately or haven't used as much as you'd like? Write it in your notebook or in the chat. So here's the time now you get to participate, whether you're watching this live, participating live, or watching the recording. What are one or more of your talents that you haven't used lately or haven't used as much as you'd like? Write it in your notebook or in the chat. And while you're writing, I have 2 talents that come to mind that I can share with you today from me. One is singing. I love to sing. I learned to sing in church choir. And because of my talented choir friends, I was very inspired, and I learned to harmonize by ear without reading music, because that's what they did. They were so freaking awesome, and it took me a long time, but I was able to do a small percentage of what they could do, and I'm very pleased with that small percentage. It's huge to me. I used to lead worship services, and singing was one of the things that brought me a lot of satisfaction and bring me a lot of satisfaction. What is one or more talents that you haven't used lately? Maybe in sports or in your profession, perhaps in art. Go ahead and keep writing in your notebook or type it in a chat. I will share another talent that I haven't been using as much as I would like, which is speaking another language, or speaking Portuguese and Spanish. For the last 20 years, I have been learning and improving my English and not practicing Portuguese and Spanish that much. And guess what's happening when I meet a Brazilian who speaks fluent Portuguese? I have had to cut conversation short, because of the words that I used to recall quickly were no longer connected in my neural pathways as they used to be. Now, think about the talents you wrote down and choose one specifically and answer this question. If I was to use my talent of ... insert talent here, regularly, I would have blank, blank, and blank in my life. If I was to use my talent of, so for me, for instance, if I was to use my talent of singing regularly, I would have more bliss, more joy, and more goosebumps in my life. Because when I sing, that's what happens to my forearms and legs. I get goosebumps. Next, the areas of my life that would be benefited are my health, my physical health, my spiritual health, and my relationships. How about you? So here's the prompt again. Think about one of your talents that you chose that you haven't been using as much as you'd like, and ask yourself, if I was to use my talent of blank regularly, I would have blank, comma, blank, and blank in my life, or more of that. And the areas of my life that would be benefited or impacted are, or would be, blank, blank, and blank. So for me, for sure, my relationships would be affected because I would be hanging out and singing and even going on tours with musicians. And that would be pretty cool, because then I'll get to have goosebumps a lot more. What else would happen if you were to exercise that talent often? What opportunities could open up for you? Write it in your notebook or write it in a chat. So as you're thinking, feeling, having that talent be in the forefront of your mind, what else would happen if you were to exercise that talent often? So for me, for instance, what else would happen if I were to exercise the talent of singing often? I would improve my speaking voice. I would increase my listening skills because in my opinion, singing has a lot to do with managing the ear and using the ear to manage how much air comes out of through my mouth. So I would become a better listener. How about you? What else would happen if you were to exercise that talent often? What opportunities could open up for you? So for me, what other opportunities could open up is once a week having a musical opportunity, a musical gig, playing and singing with a band once a week somewhere. Hey, perhaps even at a wedding, which now that I think of it, I sung at 2 weddings a long time ago, over 20 years ago. How about you? Write it in your notebook or write it in a chat. What opportunities could open up for you? Why would those opportunities open up for you? So for me, why would those opportunities open up for me? Say of singing once a week with a group of musicians, um, being around people that enjoy music. It's because that's the that's the natural thing that would happen. If I'm practicing, say once a day, or even for a few minutes, or every other day, it would be the confidence level of me reaching out to my musician friends and say, hey, you know, I love you. You're amazing. I go to your concerts often. Can can we do a can I join you for a song or two? So think about your talent and the opportunities that would open up for you. Why? Why would those opportunities open up for you? And this is deep work that we're doing right now. And if you do this deep work, you're going to get a lot out of this session. Go ahead and write it in your notebook or write it in the chat. Why would those opportunities open up for you? Those opportunities would open up for me because I'll be inspired, I'll be motivated, I would be confident and doing the thing that I love. That's why. What do you think is slowing you down, standing in the way, or stopping you from using your talent or talents? Go ahead and write it in your notebook or write it in a chat. What do you think is slowing you down, standing in the way, or stopping you from using your talent? So as I keep giving you examples of to inspire you so you can think for yourself about your talent, what do I think is slowing me down, standing in the way or stopping me from using my talent is the thought that I need to spend a lot of time doing it. That if I just did it for a little bit each day, that would not work. So that's a limiting belief, because that just by me talking about it, my mind is going, no, that you don't need a lot of time. I could also incorporate it with other things I do. I could be incorporating singing while I am doing other things, just by choosing to, okay, as I do this thing that I'm doing now, so I'm thinking cooking or preparing a meal, that now I'm incorporating my actions into creating a song or a tune, or singing a song that is from another author, musician. How about you? What do you think is slowing you down, standing in the way, or stopping you from using your talents? Write it in your notebook, or write it in the chat. I remember reading the 4-Hour Work Week, the book by Timothy Ferriss, and he put a quote in that book from, I believe, Yoda, that fear, that named must your fear be, so vanish it you can. I think it's something like that. So by you doing this exercise here, it's similar to that by you acknowledging the thing that, slowing you down, standing in the way, is stopping, it has a similar vibe, that by you acknowledging it, you can ask yourself, is it true? What else do you think could be slowing you down, standing in the way, or stopping you? What else do you think could be slowing you down, standing in the way, or stopping you? Go ahead and write it in the chat. What impact do you think these challenges are having on your life? And actually, let's go back one slide, because here I did not give an example. What else do I think could be slowing me down, standing in the way, or stopping me? So besides the old belief that I needed to put a lot of time aside, is that perhaps I don't have enough time for that. So that is definitely a belief that I had. And notice I'm putting it in the past, because I want to leave it in the past. What else do I think could be slowing me down? And using my talent of singing, that I didn't have enough time, or it was not a priority. It was not a priority. How about you? What else do you think could be slowing you down, standing in a way? What impact do you think these challenges are having on your life? What impact do you think these challenges are having on your life? So for me, in the singing department, it's impacting that it prompted me to so much that I thought this is a big deal. I'm not doing one of the things that I love the most, and then sharing with friends and clients and realizing it's not just me. I'm like, okay, I need to, go to the mountaintops and shout. This is my way of going to the mountaintops and shouting, is through this webinar. It's the impact that I have a talent, and similar to the language of Portuguese, especially Portuguese, my mother tongue, that if I don't use it, I lose it. So it's like it took me 17 years to learn the language, perfect it, and then not use it for the following 17 years. So that's the impact of, say, of the story of the parable of the talents. How about you? Really allow yourself to be honest, if you can, and I know you can, and just be present. Write it down. What impact do you think this challenge is having on your life? What impact are these challenges having in other areas of your life? So I could say that indirectly, my physical health is being impacted because in the back of my mind, I was being not 100% honest with using my talents, which give me so much joy, so much bliss, so much happiness. So I could say that it's impacting my health. And I may use the word indirectly, or maybe not. Maybe it is impacting my health directly, because I know I could be doing something else, adding something else to my priority list. And just because of old beliefs, old limiting beliefs, I wasn't. How about you? What impact are these challenges having in other areas of your life? Is it relationships? Is it health? Is it money? How long have these challenges been going on? And I'm giggling here because for me, it's been a while. It's been maybe close to 20 years. How about you? How long have these challenges been going on? What is the worst part about these challenges? So for my challenge, if I may share, it's a feeling of having wasted a precious talent that a lot of people don't have. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, I looking at a WhatsApp group, the host of the admin of the WhatsApp group, lovely friend who helps a lot of people in business. It was his birthday, and his assistant posted a picture and announcing that it was his birthday. And I was so excited because I was like, oh, wow, I get to do something that I love to do when I know it's people's birthday, someone's birthday, which is I send them a voice memo singing happy birthday. So I did. So I sang happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friend. Happy birthday to you. And guess what happened next? And I challenged everyone to check, guys, this is an opportunity to give back to our friend. Let's all sing. Come on, I'll get us started. Dozens, probably close to 100 people said, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. No one sang. The person who had the birthday replied to my voice memo and said, wow, friend, you're an amazing singer. You have an amazing voice. You should have pursued singing instead of football or soccer, because he knows that back in the day, I pursued football or soccer professionally. and I was like, what? Brother, you haven't seen my soccer skills. What are you talking about? But the point is, I know I have a talent in that department, and I know you have a talent, perhaps in a different department. And being aware of the worst part will help us with the contrast, will help us see the blind spots. It will help us get real, get clear, get honest, and go, you know what? I need to use these talents. I can't let them go to waste. Not everyone has this talent. What is the worst part about these challenges of not using this talent for you? And why? Why is it the worst part? So for me, it's a little bit of, I think the worst part is also a guilt trip. Something that some of us got trained to be really good at. If we participate in some communities as children, perhaps some religions as children, where guilt became something we became very good at. So for me, the worst part is guilt tripping myself for not having used the talent for all these years. How about you? Why is the worst part you chose the worst part? If you could turn all these challenges around and flow freely toward your goals, what would that do for you? Write it in your notebook or write it in a chat. If you could turn all these challenges around and flow freely toward your goals, what would that do for you? Imagine, really think about it, feel into it. If you could turn all these challenges around and flow freely toward your goals, what would that do for you? Write it in your notebook or write it in the chat. So I'll share a little bit here to give you an example if I could turn all of my challenges around and flow freely toward my goals, what that would do for me is that every weekend I'll be singing somewhere to people that want to hear uh, music, being around. And usually those places are fun places. They could be parties, ceremonies, celebrations. That's what that would do for me. How about you? What would be the best part about that? Go ahead and write it in your notebook or write it in the chat. What would be the best part about that? I think for me, the best part about that, about my singing department story, it's the during the singing, looking at people's faces while they're dancing, or perhaps they're singing along, and just having that feeling of oneness or of connection or rapport that is so huge when it comes to something like sound and music. How about you? What would be the best part about your story that you are being present to, creating, perhaps for the first time ever being aware of this? Maybe not the first time being aware, but perhaps recently being aware of this talent that you have, that perhaps you enjoy and love so much. What would be the best part about letting go of all of the challenges and blocks that are stopping you? Why? Why would that be the best part? Why it can be a powerful question when used in the right time. And this is one of those times. Why would that be the best part? What have you found most valuable about our time together so far? Write it in your notebook or write it in the chat. For me, has been going through the exercises with you. Um, they 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 work. They're powerful, and I'm already pumped about the possibilities, the conversations I will have with my musician friends. How about for you? What have you found most valuable about our time together so far? Go ahead, write it in your notebook or write it in the chat. Wonderful. Seeing some shares here in the chat. I have a program designed specifically to help people overcome these sorts of challenges and achieve these kinds of results. Would you like to hear a little bit about it? I hope you say yes. Okay. If you said yes, I will continue. I work with clients for 3 to 12 months at a time through private and group coaching. And we work on these 5 things. We clarify your direction. We strategize your actions. We upgrade your skills. We optimize your environment. And we master your psychology. And here I'm going to explain one at a time, just a little bit. Clarify your direction. So similar to what we did here today, I help clients to really become a little bit more honest, because I believe honesty is the foundation for communication with self. That once a person decides, you know what, I'm just going to be really honest with myself, and I am going to stop doing the things that I don't enjoy doing, and I'm going to do the things I enjoy doing. So I help clients do that, clarify their direction. And one way of doing that is through what I call the honor code. And when someone, or the honor system, most people understand the honor system to be what to do in regards to others. A lot of people haven't really taken that honor system to mean that they could use it for themselves, like honoring themselves first, and as well as others. Strategize actions. So for instance, lately with AI, ChatGPT, meditation, prayer, spirituality, all of these things being more and more important, or being at the talk of the town, so to speak, because it's where consciousness is currently, it's important to strategize. And I don't have all the answers. I need help, meaning I have a mentor for real estate. I have a mentor for business. I have a mentor for, say, communication. Having people that help strategize our actions, it's very, very important. So I help people do that. Upgrading skills. So what skills do you need next to match where you're going in life? Is it communication skills? A lot of my clients, we work on that. And it's not so much the communication skills with others, but the inner dialogue. The inner dialogue that then leads to decisions. And to me, upgrading skills is one way that I help clients achieve their goals. Optimize environment. This one has been huge since the release of the book, The Atomic Habits, which is, it's been, if you haven't read it, get that book. The importance of having certain areas in your home or office or area around your house, work, where each area has a meaning, and you start creating habits for that area so that there's flow. So I help clients do that, optimize the environment. Master your psychology. Well, this one is a big one. What does that even mean? Master your psychology. What that means to me is that one gets to work as much as possible at the energy and spiritual levels, so it trickles down to the mental, emotional, and physical levels. That way, one is not working hard to master psychology or anything. It's been done at a higher level, and it trickles down to psychology. Does this make sense? Would that be valuable to you? Good. I hope you said yes. Would you like to give it a try? I hope you say yes, because it's really cool. Great. All you need to do to get started is go to www.mentormefernando.com, mentormefernando.com, and get started. You can read more about it there. I'm going to place a link in the chat below, so it's easier for you all to go there. I'm going to stop sharing the screen here for a moment. All right. Cool. I'm going to stop the recording, and then we'll do some Q&A. Should I stop the recording? Yeah, stop the recording so we can do the Q&A. And I just did some muscle testing there. For those of you that don't know, I checked in on muscle testing.